'cause I'm dying. Oh, and you know there's something going on.
I'm Theo Lens, and I have a heart for the homeless. Becoming homeless can happen to anyone, even to you and me. In this series, I try to find out how people got into these bad situations. And while listening to their hearts and life stories, I look for ways to help them.
There are a lot of people still who believe that everyone who's homeless must have some substance misuse problem, and it's frustrating. Some people, we just need money to live, not to get drugs. You know, not everyone is, you know, is using money for drugs on the street, basically, or alcohol.
Homeless after serving 17 years in 29 Commando Regiment within the Royal Artillery. It's Royal Marine Green Beret Regiment. I'm a Special Forces soldier. I was made homeless after I split up with my wife of 22 years. I served in the British Army, as I say, for just over 17 years. Homelessness was basically, she was having an affair. I walked out of the house. I went to the local council to be housed. Where I walked out, I made myself intentionally homeless, they said. Therefore, they will not house me. I've been to various armed forces organisations to help with the matter, but I seem to be getting no progress.
Basically, I've got a choice. I can go back to my ex-boyfriend and get beat up, or stay out here on the streets. So I come up here from Carnarvon, North Wales, with a man. He beat me up badly. I left. Because I left, I made myself homeless. So that's the choice I've got. Either go back and get beaten up, or stay out here.
You know, the thing is, the people who are living on the streets always try to help each other. So if one day I got 10 quid, but I need 12 pounds for the hostel, yeah, and I just came to the geezer who's sitting in the Tesco, and I said, oh, can you give me 2 quid? I got not enough money for sleeping in the hostel, and he just gave me 2 pounds. And all of us like this, if you need a little bit of help, everyone gonna help you.
I'm an artist. I do a lot of my drawing on the street, and I sell me drawings from the street. I'm Saturday 7 days a week, and Friday and Saturday night seem to be the most scariest because there's a lot of clubs around here and there's a lot of people with alcohol in them, and some people can be really stupid.
I was just sitting outside KFC and I was just doing what I'm doing here. I don't actually ask them anything, I'm just saying to people how we doing and everything, and two men walked up to me with iron bars and they hit me over the head twice and everything over the head, and they split all my head open here and it caused like 20 odd stitches in my head, and I was just left on the floor, but no one really cared about it. There was like loads of people walking past, but there was no witnesses. They all turned and said, oh no, we didn't see nothing, and just left me like covered in blood everywhere for no apparent reason.
One evening I was in my sleeping bag and some lads set my sleeping bag on fire whilst I was in it. Also, another time, a bunch of lads, 4 lads in fact, started, can I say the exact word? Pissing on me, and while I was in a sleeping bag, and as I tried to get out, was kicking me in the head, kicking me in my chest. I ended up with 3 broken ribs, a broken wrist, and I ended up with 14 stitches down the side of my head.
Everything in it, it's like being a woman, being out here on your own, you know, it's like no family, no friends, not knowing where you are, because I've never been to London before in my life. It's like everything's scary, you know.
The weather, innit? It's got to be the weather. In the cold time, when it's cold, you get cold and everything, but when it rains and everything, you've got nowhere to dry, and you've got your body just freezes.
Just up by the churchyard there, this was about 2-3 months ago. We was all sleeping around the back, woke up, went to go and talk to him. he was lying there dead. And that was because of hypothermia. You know, so it's not a joke thing out here.
Students that used to throw bricks at us when we were sleeping after they'd been out on the night on a drink. You know, I know of people who've had, you know, my partner Tessa, she was in a sleeping bag wrapped up with her, you know, underneath the blankets once, and she woke up to someone urinating on her blanket. You know, just complete disrespect that people have.
I suppose the only thing I can say I was grateful about, I've not bring no children into the world, so they've not had to go through anything like that, you know what I'm saying?
It's a very lonely place, you know, coming from the lifestyle that I led within the British Army and stuff, being someone quite respected, you know, to someone that people just ignore. But as every homeless person, you seem to get this stigma attached to homeless people. You know, I for one don't drink or take drugs, but there's many people out here who do that, so everybody's sort of tied with the same brush.
People who walking through, they not even look at you. When you're asking for a couple of pences, really, not even quid, couple of pences, they not even look at you, they not answering you. Like you are no one, nothing at all. Piece of shit in one word, you know. So it's the main thing.
At the end of the day, it's down to them. Like, you do get quite a few good people that walk past you and that, and they do give you some money and everything. They help you out and everything. But then you get people that won't even talk to you, and they're the ones that they just look at you and they look down and they just don't want nothing to do with you because you're scum. In other words, you're sitting on the streets. They don't want to know you.
Sometimes I really do give up on the human race, but other times I'm absolutely. You know, I'm emotional at the amount of help and generosity that the public do give you.
Some people can be kind, some people can be nasty, you know. Everybody's got a dark side, but I've been lucky, nothing's bad's ever happened to me. You know, it's like I've been lucky in a way, but I've never depended on other people. I go to the Passage Day set in the morning, I get my clean clothes, I have a shower there, so I don't really depend on like people in general. It's only days like today when they've offered me this hostel and I need the money to get in there that I'm actually out here asking for spare change to try and get the money to get into the hostel.
Maybe like put people into like temporary accommodations, so then give them like a bit of time to get their life together. You know, maybe give them time to get a job, get some money behind yourself, so then you can put a deposit or something down on a flat, and then start progressing, getting your life back together. You know. But they're really not. I mean, they're cutting the benefits left, right and centre with everyone. They've told Big Issue not to give out any more badges so that the homeless people can't sell Big Issue magazines to make money, you know, so it's really going bad.
The government itself, personally, I don't feel helpful in any way. There was a hostel that we were very close to getting into, not very far from here. And basically the government took away that hostel's funding and closed that hostel down, and that's therefore has caused me and Tessa to end up being homeless for even longer. It frustrates me. You know, I'm a Big Issue vendor, and I'm always very polite and very, you know, I'm very polite to people, and a lot of people do ignore us. And I've become quite used to it, but it does become quite hurtful and quite demoralising in a lot of ways. Nobody owes us anything, nobody's obliged to us in any way, so it's up to them, and it's up to people deal with things different ways. But there's no need to be ignorant. You know, we're not bad people. We're just people who need a little help.
I should think all homeless people were, how can I put it, criminals, or, you know, people that society just do not like as a whole, want to keep away from people, but it's not. I've met some of the nicest people you could ever imagine to meet. They're on the street. They're addicted to drugs and they're alcoholics, generally because they have so much feeling and so intense feelings about things and life and people, and they can't handle it, you know, can't handle the way they feel about their families or the way their families have treated them, you know. Yeah, it's just tragic, you know, how people can end up in this situation in today's it just, how can people end up like this, you know? I'm not even speaking for myself. You know, there's billions and billions of pounds being wasted in wars, you know, around the world for oil and diamonds and opium and, you know, and yet there's people living on the streets of our own country. You know, how can this be right? I walk into this cathedral here, you know, and there's boxes, see-through perspex boxes full of 10s, 20s and £50 notes, you know, and they empty it every day, and every day it's full up. You know, imagine how much they could change someone's life if they were just to put that into people, you know, invest it into people rather than putting new lead on the roof of an old broken down cathedral, you know. Imagine if they invest the same sort of money that they spent on an Exocet missile or, you know, a nuclear warhead that gets hidden in a submarine somewhere for a decade. You know, £50,000 for a fuse on an artillery shell. You know, that could seriously change someone's life. That could be a deposit for 50 people living in a new flat somewhere in London. You know, there's so much wrongdoing in this world, so much wrongdoing in this country, and there's so much suffering from the people of this country that's hidden away, you know. The homelessness of this country is hidden. You know, people that walk here in the morning don't see the 30, 40 people that sleep here overnight. You don't see that because the police come around at 4 or 5 in the morning and move them on before people on their way to work or tourists get the chance to see the situation, how it is. You know, it's bad. It's bad. And none of this country's governments want to do anything about it because it's all money. And they probably want the money for their own back pockets to wallpaper their new houses or, you know, put new wheels on their brand new fancy cars, you know, and pass it off as tax expenses like they normally bloody do. You know, I for one am fed up with being treated like this, especially with the time I've served for this country. I know a good 20, 30 other soldiers like me that are really upset with the situation as well. It's been going on for years, you know. The soldiers are picked from the poor people. We end up going off sold a lie. And we're the ones that get ill-treated when we come back. You know, it's been going on since the First World War. There was veterans standing in the streets with one leg missing, you know, asking for help. The country never helped them. There's a good few of us soldiers who are thinking of getting our heads together, you know. Not on drugs, not on drink or anything like that, you know. None of us are. And they're really seriously making a statement that the government's going to have to listen to, you know, because you're talking about some seriously trained people, you know, some special forces soldiers. They've got something up their sleeves for the future. So they need to start doing something about this before people like us start biting back. I suppose that's all I've got to say, mate.
My name's Dean and I'm homeless.
Hello, I'm John. I used to be homeless.
My name's Jason and I'm homeless. I've been homeless for about 2 years now.
Dawn Williams, and I've been homeless since the 23rd of October last year.
My name's Wayne and I'm homeless.
My name is Roman and I'm homeless.
My name's William and I'm homeless.